Hi, my name is Grace Holihen. I'm from Fishers, Indiana, and attend Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. My biggest hobby is traveling, and I've been fortunate enough to travel to over 10 countries outside of the United States. Other hobbies include gardening, reading. I love everything about eating, going out to eat, cooking, all of it. So it definitely helps with being a dietetics major. Some other things that distinguish me from the other candidates would be that I have a business information technology minor, so that's allowed me to become proficient in Microsoft Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. I've also gotten some coding experience and some general business management experience that not every dietetics major would have. So moving on to the questions. So why do I want to be a Tulane dietetic intern? So Tulane is an amazing school with a very impressive dietetics program. I love New Orleans. I'm really excited about getting into the community and actually found out that New Orleans is ranked 49th in the country in terms of health. So definitely a place that could use some improvement, and I would love to do all that I can to offer myself and my services to the community. I hope to gain all the experience that I can from this internship, really sharpening my clinical and my community skills. So why do I want to be a dietitian? I love food and I love helping people, and I thought that I could combine the two to educate others and promote health in a fun, interesting way. I'm really interested in global nutrition, so my passion for sustainability and for travel really go hand in hand. So in 5 years, I see myself hopefully going into developing nations and developing sustainable forms of agriculture in countries and communities. And so if I can't do that on a global level, I'm definitely interested in doing it domestically, really starting from the grassroots, helping communities in the United States just do anything they can to improve. So feeling uncomfortable in a work situation. When I worked at a diabetes camp the past 2 summers, we had a very calculated amount of food, and so when the campers, there were nearly 200 campers and staff that we were serving 3 times a day, 3 full meals a day, and then 2 snacks along with all the food preparations for insulin checks during night rounds. So huge production. One time that I felt uncomfortable would be when we ran out of the entree for the evening, which was macaroni and cheese. It was a camp favorite. Everyone loved it, and everyone had taken insulin beforehand to prepare for the amount of servings that they ordered. We ended up running out of the entree, and so when people came up, instead of getting the 3 servings of mac and cheese, we had to come up with a carb equivalent to offer them. So for some people it would be like, okay, we can offer you these leftovers, or we can offer you 3 servings of another carb like fruit. And so people were very frustrated with us, and the dietary staff really took a hit. And so, we did feel uncomfortable. We were giving bad news, but it's one of those things that you just have to apply to life and take in stride. Really had to do some crowd management and diffuse that situation. So that was definitely a helpful experience that I can apply in the future. So if ever I'm in my internship rotation, I know that if I do, if we make mistakes, I know how to handle a large group that is not happy. So that was, it was a life lesson learned. All right, so next question, how would I prepare for a major exam? While I love group presentations and group work usually, I would have to say that I'm definitely like an individual study style. So my plan is to start far in advance. I like to take a little at a time. So I would definitely read through the chapter and then compare that with my notes, and then adding in even more notes to my notes. From there, I usually highlight the most important thing and rewrite it. So I found that for me, physically writing down the information that I find most pertinent to the chapter, to the content, what I think is going to be on the exam, and not even what I need to memorize, but what I need to learn is what I try and focus on, and just rewrite, try and get it in my head. All right, so next question is, describe a situation where you felt you were treated unfairly, and how did you handle it? So I worked retail in high school, and I was actually conned. I had a quick change artist come in, and unbeknownst to me, they have a way of asking for change. They'll pay with a high bill, buy something really inexpensive, and then before you even put the cash back in the register, they'll ask for change and may have, instead of a 10, can I have 2 5s? Instead of 5s, can I have 1s, XYZ? So it turns out that you have all this cash in your hands and you haven't put it away, but you've given it to them. It's this big system. And so that happened to me when I was 17, and I was really confused at first, and it was kind of like, oh, that's strange. And then I trusted my instinct, and I kind of listened to my gut, and so I counted the cash register and realized that I was missing all this money, and it was really scary, and a lot of pressure. And so called the owner, called my manager, called the police, filed a report. So I really tried to think logically and do every systematic approach to resolving the situation. So I would apply that to my internship, and just really trusting your instincts, and if something seems fishy, it probably is. So yeah, and then if something does go wrong, following the proper steps to resolve that issue. All right, so next question. Are you better at working on many things at a time, or better at working on getting results from a few specific things? So I had a lot of trouble coming up with this one and seeing which one I liked the best. I would have to say that crossing things off my list is really gratifying for me. So I make lists all day long, and that is kind of how my brain works. So have my list, do that one thing that I can really focus on, finish it, be done, and then move on to the next thing, knowing that I've completed it successfully without walking away from it unfinished. So an example of that would just be my day-to-day in the workplace, in the office. If I have tasks or assignments, I'll make sure to finish them, relay that to my manager or my oversight, and just get that out of the way so that it feels good. Same with schoolwork. Really want to make sure that all my assignments are done in a timely manner. All right, last question. Describe a challenge you faced in trying to work cooperatively with someone who did not share the same ideas. All right, so when I was a sustainable agriculture apprentice, the owner of the farm had different political views than I did, different views about vaccination. She did not believe in vaccinations, thought that they were a sham, all of this. And so you just have to know that no matter what another person's views are, you can still get along, you can still work together. That's totally fine, and that's definitely a life lesson that I can apply to many areas. So you just have to know that just because you might not see eye to eye on one thing, that doesn't mean that you can't cooperate on the big picture. So yeah, I would absolutely apply that to life and my dietetic internship. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that you look over my application very closely. Tulane is my favorite school. I absolutely would be thrilled to be accepted. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Have a great one.